Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Grayson. We are out here right now playing with Will's new car. You like it, man? What do you think? We're gonna be doing our budget, our personal budget and business budget for February, so we'll be filming for that probably. But I will see you guys in a little bit. All right, here's our budget for February 2021. So we're projecting doing $50,000 in revenue. We have about $800 that we would put towards tithe. We have our mortgage payment, and then we list out our utilities. So we have water, natural gas, trash, electric, internet, phones. Phones includes the business stuff as well. We have insurance, our personal auto insurance, and then our business. This is for general liability. Mm-hmm. We already paid our auto policy for the business for the rest of the term for it, like the next 2 months. Groceries, we have $400 budgeted.
Well, so to go off of first is we kind of use Dave Ramsey's budgeting system. So every dollar has a place. So that's why we write out everything and how much money is going to each place so that we can have like literally an exact budget down to the dollar. It eliminates unnecessary spending, which is big for you.
And then we have eating out, $400 as well. Gas, I went off of what we spent last month, about $750 in gas for all the vehicles and pressure washers and everything, all of our machines. Vehicle payments is about $3,093 a month. Payroll, based on how we're going to grow for February and then based off of last month, we're about $14,000. Life insurance for me is $44 for $1 million policy. If you don't have life insurance, definitely check out Xander Insurance. That's where I got mine, and they were able to get me the cheapest rate. I think it's through like Banner Life Insurance. Miscellaneous. What?
Well, is the insurance one that Dave Ramsey?
Yeah, Dave Ramsey recommends Xander Insurance as well. That's where I heard about it, from listening to his podcast. Miscellaneous expenses, so just any material costs that we're going to be buying or stuff that comes up that we didn't budget for in the month. I budget here about $4,500 probably for February. So this puts us at about $29,415 that we're going to be spending in February. And this includes payroll and everything as well. So it's not just really a personal budget. It's a business and personal. Obviously, we run our accounts separately. So we don't run all of our personal expenses through the business, and we don't run the business through our personal account. But when we're budgeting at the beginning of the month, it's easier to put them all in one category. Since we moved into this house, we have been running everything. When we have a personal expense, we'll just write a check basically to ourselves and then pay it from our personal account instead of taking a salary, just because we are trying to run as lean as possible and not wanting to pay ourselves extra based on what we actually need. So like our mortgage checks and that kind of stuff, we would just write a check to ourselves and then pay it from our personal account. Forgot to add Sarah and Will's and Peyton's health insurance. It's like $800 a month.
And we have Kaiser Health Insurance, which I highly recommend. I've never had any issues with them. And it's so $800 covers me, Peyton, and Will, and we have like the gold standard members, so like the highest that you can get. So anytime anything happens, such as, Will breaking my nose last week. Um, Very minimal payments, which is a huge thing. We decided to go with the gold member with Kaiser because we knew that I was pregnant with Peyton, and just having kids that young, you never know what's going to happen. So it's better to be prepared in advance.
Yep, for sure.
And then you're still covered under your dad since you're under 26.
Yes. Um, and then down here, I have just other expenses that are saving items. So if I'm saving up for a purchase, this could be budgeted here. And then let's say I want $100 a month in spending money or whatever like that. We could budget for that, and then actually what I spent. Um, so that could go into an account for like $100 a month. I want to either save or spend, and then that can go into an account. Dave Ramsey teaches to have a base emergency fund of $1,000 if you still are in debt. So I just put $1,000 here. Um, Extra giving, you could budget for that every month. Vacations, if you want to put them into a sinking fund, and then you have your beginning balance and ending balance of each one. Christmas definitely comes every year, so saving throughout the whole year instead of just waiting until you need to make purchases helps a lot. So you can budget each month what you're going to be putting into a savings account for Christmas, car maintenance, household stuff, so buying couches and TVs and that kind of stuff. If you have debt, how much money extra you're putting towards debt, and then I wrote this when I think you were pregnant with Peyton, so we were just saving up for her. That's why I have baby on here.
Well, and it's just miscellaneous. It's always good. I highly recommend, if you have children, if diapers are ever on sale, and if you think you're going to have children in the future, like more of them, just stock up on them. Put them in the garage, put them in storage somewhere. You're always going to use them.
And wipes.
And, gosh, and wipes. That's very, very high on the list. But I do want to recommend highly saving for Christmas, because every year, it comes around and you're like, man, I want to buy all these people gifts, and we're cutting it a little like close this year. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it. It's a lot easier to think of, okay, $100 a month. If I save that, that'll put you with about $1,200 for Christmas to spend on gifts. Or if you want to even do more than that, just so it's not one lump sum at the end of the year and you're like, oh crap. Those are not good moments to have.
Okay. Also, so we kind of base our budget off of what Dave Ramsey teaches. He teaches a zero-based budget, so every dollar having a place, like you were saying. So that would be the difference. Should be zero. Obviously, we're running it from business and personal, so we're not going to spend every single dollar the business is making, because we have taxes, we have other expenses that are going to come up, and we have to put money into the savings account to then cover any months that we might be slower than what we're budgeting. So our break even basically would be about $30,215 per month. That's not necessarily what we're going to spend every month, but that is our break even point. So any revenue over 30,000 is in theory profit, but it will probably be reinvested into marketing and that kind of stuff as well. This is just what we're budgeting for the beginning of the month.
So in the extra giving column, so for the zero based budget, we always sit down. We have our budget at the end of every single month. We always cut it down until literally the last minute. But so we look ahead at.
We have an hour and 20 minutes.
But we look at the next month, and so if I have a baby shower that I'm going to, or if I want to just buy someone a gift. I know that like my friend Jessie, she just had a baby, so I have like a little gift set aside for her. And with the $0 based budget, it's already budgeted, so it's set aside, and it's just another thing that we do to eliminate extra spending. So it's like we already know, and I don't know how to like it's already set aside. I guess.
just planning ahead. You know what you're going to be spending, so you don't get to February 15th, and then Sarah would tell me that, oh, I have $100 I want to spend on this, but if it's not in the budget, we try to stick to our budget as much as possible. So just already knowing if you have an expense that's going to be coming up, just put it in your budget before the month starts, and then try to stick to your budget as much as possible, and it just helps with unnecessary spending or that kind of stuff. Okay, and then underneath that, I have net worth. So you can put your assets in, your house, cash savings, HSAs if you have, so health savings account. I don't know, any other assets that you have. You could put cars here or firearms or whatever you have, jewelry, anything that you have that you count as your assets, put into this column. And then um, I don't know why I have budget and actual, but so beginning balance and then ending balance. So for our house, you could look on like Zillow or stuff like that and get what your house is valued at. Or we just bought our house in October, so I'm kind of just going off those numbers. All right, and then so assets are in this section. Liabilities, so debt that you have on your assets or just other debts if you had like credit card debt or vehicle debt. I have our mortgage listed here. So you can have your beginning balance at the beginning of the month, ending balance. So after you paid your mortgage payment or whatever you have, and then it would calculate what your debt or what your asset minus your debt is, and that would be your net worth after everything's added up. So I just have our house. I don't have anything else in this, just to show you guys. Um, I don't think there's anything else for the budget. Do you have anything else you want to go over?
I mean, the only thing that I know, because we go off of Dave Ramsey, but to a certain extent, we kind of smudge the lines a little bit. What he calls Dave Ramsey ish.
Which he doesn't recommend, but it has worked really well for us so far.
So, $1,000 emergency fund. Yes, we absolutely follow that to the T. But also, like if you have a
starter emergency fund.
Yes, but if you have like a used car or something like that, I would recommend having another at least 500 to 1,000, just because expenses on cars, that it just adds up really fast. So I mean, it's just a little bit helpful. And then if you have children, you never know, emergency room visits or just stuff like that. And I know you have insurance, but stuff adds up very quickly. So it's always good to have maybe a little bit more than $1,000 in your emergency fund.
Yeah, definitely. So I like general rule of thumb having like 3 to 6 months of expenses in an emergency fund. So if you don't have work for a couple months, you don't have to stress. You have 3 to 6 months of expenses set aside, and you can live off of that. Or if you have a big purchase come up that you aren't expecting, like a medical bill or a car repair,
For example,
you have a lot extra money set aside.
We used to have a German Shorthair Pointer.
Used to.
In 1 month, actually, well, it was all in 1 month. In 1 week, we had almost $600 worth of vet bills because he got stung by a bee in the face, like all over, and swelled up his head. I swear it was the size of a freaking pumpkin. It was just ginormous. It was very bad. And then literally the week before that, I don't know if he stepped on something or his like nail or something got infected, so his paw was all swollen. He couldn't walk for like 2 weeks, and so very unexpected. So I guess that could be another thing, is add to your emergency fund. Add that to
that could be a sinking fund too, actually. So if you have a dog that either is chronically getting injured or stuff like that, you could put like $50 a month towards medical bills for the dog as well, or vet bills.
Or grooming.
Yeah, or
groom your dog
as well.
Every single
That'd be more
month.
of a budget though. A budget item than a sinking fund.
Okay, still in the budget.
I'm sure that we're leaving out a couple things, but that's kind of what I put miscellaneous for.
As you do your budget every single month, Dave Ramsey and what's his daughter's, Rachel Cruz, highly recommends. It'll take 3 to 4 months for you to fully have your budget down, so that you won't really have too much of like the miscellaneous expenses. And for me, miscellaneous expenses is I see cute outfits for the kids. Totally guilty of that.
Or toys.
Or toys. Amazon is very, very bad. So basically, the miscellaneous expense is my Amazon fund. um, but it's just so nice and so fun when William will run to the door because he knows he got a toy. So he gets very excited. He got a car this last weekend. um, but that is beside the point. Try and stick to your budget the best you can. It'll just help you out a lot and help you save, whether you're trying to save for a house or because you could put that like in your budget as well. If you specifically want to set aside money that is not your emergency fund, and that you do not want to touch so that you can save for something, whether you want to get a car, whether you want to, like we saved up when we bought our couches for our new house, or I don't know,
Yeah.
house.
A budget doesn't have to be restrictive either. It's just you're telling your money where to go basically instead of wondering where it went at the end of the month is kind of how I look at it too. So you're not living on a budget isn't necessarily like living way below your means, which obviously it's good to do that, but it's more just knowing where your money's going to go before the month even begins.
It helped me a lot in just like grocery shopping itself. I would go through the grocery like, oh, that looks good, I'll do that, and I would just have so much stuff that things would be going bad before I could even have them. And so it's kind of changed my thought process more of, okay, well, if it's frozen, I can kind of more be like, okay, yeah, I'll throw that in the cart, that's fine, because I know it's not going to go bad. And it is less of, okay, I'm going to more buy produce and stuff like that when I know we're going to use it within the time frame, because I just trying not to be wasteful is a huge thing. And so it's just kind of made me a little more conscious of that when I'm grocery shopping, so I'm not wasting things.
Perfect. Well, if you guys want a link to like a template for this budget, just let me know and I will send you one. I hope this helped you guys. This is the budget that we use for us personally and for our business. If you guys want the template for this, just let us know.
He spent like 6 hours on it, so.
Yeah, everything configures whenever you put in a different number, so it changes all the percentages and all of that as well. So I hope you guys have a good night though, and we will see you tomorrow.